على سيدنا محمد الصادق الأمين المبعوث رحمة للعالمين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. اللهم لا سهل إلا ما جعلته سهلا وأنت تجعل الحزن إذا شئت سهلا. اللهم انفعنا بما علمتنا وعلمنا ما ينفعنا وزدنا علما فقينا إذا علمتنا. Move to hadith number 20. وعن ابن عباس رضي الله عنهما عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم أن عيسى عليه وعلى نبينا الصلاة والسلام قال: إنما الأمور ثلاثة، أمر تبين لك رشده فاتبعه، وأمر لك تبين لك غيه فاجتنبه، وأمر اختلف فيه فرده إلى عالم. رواه الطبراني في الكبير بإسناد لا بأس به.
Sayyidina Abbas radiallahu anhu reports from the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam that Isa alayhi salam said, matters are only three: a matter whose guidance is clear to you, so follow it; a matter whose misguidance is clear to you, so avoid it; and a matter which is disputed, so refer it to a learned person.
Firstly, you see this in this hadith how the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam make us get benefit and learn from the previous prophets, and this goes with what have been told, in the book of Allah, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned the messengers of his subhanahu wa ta'ala. He said فَبِهُدَاهُ مُقْتَدِي, to follow their guidance, and this is one of the glory about our Islam, that in the Holy Quran and in the tradition of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam we have the guidance of all prophets, all messengers. And this is one example of it, and perhaps this is the best narration ever you get from Sayyidina Isa. The best narration get from Sayyidina Isa, what's mentioned in the Quran or the prophetic tradition, not what mentioned in the other books, because we are not sure about the other books. So this is one of the best way of analyze, of knowing, or try to get closer, and whenever you have any of these messengers, have any of these statements, and it came through our Prophet ﷺ, this is going to be too important, we should show it, it's what it deserves, and we should accept it exactly. Here, all of us, in all of our practice, we are going to face this problem. We are going to have some new coming events, all the time. Some of them, they are quite obvious, and they are going to manifest to you with their goodness, and guidance, and you should go by them. Some, they are going to be in the opposite way, show and manifest it to you in a very ugly and not accepted way. You should avoid it. Besides these two, we are going to have the mixture. And here comes the problem, So here, whatever is mixed for you, unclear, for sure there's an expert to it. You should seek the expertise, the expert, in these matters. Here I should highlight a point. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, or Sayyidina Isa alayhi wa nabiyina sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they left it in some occasion to your judgment. All of us, we are ready to have this judgment. This is a good question. Who are eligible to have this judgment among us? Especially in many occasions, Muslims for very limited way, the non-Muslim for very open way, they may be without fitrah, without nature. Okay? And this, when we spoil our nature, and this happens frequently to the non-Muslim. Nowadays, it may happen even the Muslim, they go against their nature. And as we know about our religion, in particular our religion, it matched the nature of the human. And that's why it was described in some areas of the Quran, فِطْرَةَ اللَّهِ الَّتِي فَطَرَ النَّاسَ عَلَيْهَا. And this match really with the nature of the human being. And that's why those people who are in their nature, they have the full ability of this recognition. Whenever we go out or we are far of this nature, our judgment is going to be going down, it's going to reduce gradually. It's not going to be good one, for many of the matters that we come through them. So this should be recognized, okay? Those who are in the nature, the original nature, or as they were described in Quran, له قلب. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in Surah Qaf, إن في ذلك لذكرى لمن كان له قلب أو ألقى السمع وهو شهيد. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, even though the Quran for our mind is the greatest thing, the most beneficial one, is not beneficial for everyone. No. Who's going to get benefit of Quran? For whom this Quran is going to be as remembrance or as reminder? Only two persons. Not everyone. Who are these two? The one who has a heart. إن في ذلك الذكرى لمن كان له قلب. You have hearts. We have this, the pump of blood. All of us, we have it. But we have the real heart? No. Okay? And the Prophet ﷺ, in another hadith, he subdivided the hearts to 4 times. So I mention them frequently. The enlightened heart with nothing else left there, it's quite pure. There's nothing except the light. Qalbun ajrad was called by the Prophet ﷺ. Nothing left there, except the light of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And there's heart which is upside down. Everything is going to be judged in the opposite way. Not by the nature, but not by human nature. We are speaking about human nature. You have the other one, well wrapped, or perfectly wrapped heart, which means nothing is going to go in or out of that particular heart. And you have that fourth type, which may be applicable to many of us, called plated one, musaffah. This plated, what does it mean, plated? It has 2 plates. One is light and the other one is dark. And the plate is going to expand. The light one is going to expand according to your good deeds, prayer, zikr, feeling Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, crying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, hear some nasheed which soften your heart. This is going to expand the white plate and make the other one shrinking. And vice versa, when someone illegal look, when he hear something that he shouldn't hear, when he have malpractice or whatever, the dark plate is going to take over. And that's what has been described by the Prophet ﷺ. Whatever is more is going to govern this heart. What does it tell us? And even this particular heart sometimes may be eligible, other times not eligible. The same heart, according to the expansion of the plate or the other layer in this heart. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in that particular verse, the one who is going to get benefit of the Quran is going to be reminded about what he should be reminded. Firstly, the one who has a heart. The second one, first he should admit that he doesn't have heart. I don't have heart. Okay, what I'm going to do, I should listen to those who have hearts. أو ألقى السمع وهو شهيد. Either to have heart, which gives this decision, or if you don't have heart, to listen to those and give some submission to those who have hearts. And that's why in our Islam we have been instructed to have consultation, mashwara, mashura all the time. We should consult with each other, we should advise each other, we should make amr bil ma'ruf and nahy anil munkar all the time. So, this is what I feel. The one who is going to have it clear in both aspects, in the beneficial one and in the harmful one, is the one who has his nature is safe. Not everyone. Why? Because I look at this, the heart was described as upside down heart. Is going to judge everything in the opposite way. And the beneficial and clear one is going to be considered harmful according to that heart, and the other one is going to be considered as good to that particular heart. So that's why some of us may misunderstand what the Prophet ﷺ meant by this hadith, or what he meant by when he said istafti qalbak. You don't need mufti when you have a qalb, okay? When you have your heart, you don't need a mufti. And this is a very important point, but you should have heart. Istafti qalbak, you should seek fatwa to your heart. Where is your heart? Some, they may not have heart. So no fatwa, that's me, okay? Some, they have spoiled heart. Some, they have plated heart, and what has taken over is the dark plate, which makes the heart influenced, and affected by this negative influence, of that particular factors that were done, by the wrongdoing and sinful action. So, firstly, I don't know how, but we should go back to our nature as a human. I'm sorry to say, many of us, by one way or another, they are not in their nature. They moved from their nature. And by this, they are not going to be eligible to know what's good and what's right and what's wrong. Even though it's clear, it's not going to be clear today. Okay? And regardless of how pure is your heart, how honest and sincere you are with your nature, still, because this life is the place of testing you, you are going to still have something in the middle, or what was called as gray area, or mutashabih. Even in the greatest text in the Quran, we put one of the subjects there, the figurative or obscure. And this is relative name, What is obscure for me may not be obscure for you, and vice versa. Okay, and that's why we have the specialty in Islam. That's why the Prophet ﷺ even mentioned about the specialties among his companions. أرحم أمتي بأمتي أبو بكر وأشدهم في دين الله عمر وأصدقهم حياء عثمان وأقضاهم علي بن أبي طالب وأقرأهم أبي بن كعب وأفرضهم زيد بن ثابت وأعلم الحلال والحرام معاذ بن جبل ألا وإن لكل أمة أمينة وأمين هذه الأمة أبو عبيدة. Okay, and here the Prophet ﷺ showed the specialties of his companion. And when we say the specialties, the expectation is going to be that this is maybe quite clear if it's related to his specialty, to so and so companion, may not be as such for the other. If I want to expand this a little bit more, all of us without exception, we have short time, short life. If we are experienced in many matters, of this life, we are not experienced in many matters of this life. If we are educated or knowledgeable about certain aspects, of this life and the hereafter, we are not educated about the most of the facts of this life and the hereafter. That's why I highlighted this frequently, I'm going to repeat myself. We should consult with each other. We should help each other. We should advise each other. We should assist each other, in this matter. Don't fool yourself, by saying we live in a time of freedom, everyone is free to do whatever he wants to do. I think this doesn't make sense for anyone, When you have a child, try to burn his hand, it's not accepted to have the adult and wise person, sitting there observing this. And all of us, we are children, on some matters that we are not experienced with. Okay? Even if I have gray hair or a lot of knowledge or whatever, there's many things, that I'm a child, in them. I'm not an expert. I'm not knowledgeable one. And this, all of you read it in the Quran. نرفع درجات من نشاء. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. See how great is Allah. Really, you should be too happy, and when you read this, about the majesty of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala raise up certain ranks, whoever he wants, Some will get PhD in that field, the other one in other field, and you name it. Some without PhD is well experienced, and you name it. You have all of these type, and then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَفَوْقَ كُلِّ ذِي عِلْمٍ عَلِيمٍ. Even if it's felt that this is at top or at the summit, of this, it's an endless chain. Okay? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to show you. And it's not only in knowledge, even though here it's expressed in knowledge, Any human skill, in any pattern, you are going to find a person who is more skillful in it. And this, I look at it as a challenge to us, okay? Why? Because you and me, and I feel everyone, he came to this halaqa, or in general, those who seek knowledge, they want to have the best available stage for them in the hereafter. And by this, you are going to be challenged in all of your life, to seek the best solution for you. And this is sometimes, inshallah, with the not spoiled nature is going to be obvious to you, and many times it's not going to be that obvious. And you should seek consultation with the other. And that's why I keep complaining, on this point, I see Muslims in general, in their community, they have significant lacking, of advising each other, or if you want to put it in the pattern of the Quran, وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالْحَقِّ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالصَّبْرِ. We have significant lacking, in those matters. I am one of those who are too deficient, in it, but I know for sure that this is not good for me, not good for anyone, and all of us, we should find a way to try to revive, try to resurrect some of those buried tradition of the Prophet ﷺ, those buried teaching given to us by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because you hardly find anyone, practice them nowadays. So here it was summarized by Sayyidina Isa ibn Maryam, رُدَّهُ إِلَى عَالِمٍ. Okay? That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made us different, in different aspects of this life, different experience of our life. The best among us, those who have full recognition of what they are good in and what they are bad in. The worst among us, and they call them, this is double ignorant person, the one who is ignorant and he doesn't know that he is ignorant. It's the worst. Why? Because such a person doesn't feel deficiency, and whenever you feel yourself you are in no need of this matter, you are not going to search for it. And just imagine if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala stopped this feeling, the feeling of thirsty. I'm going to dry it up, without feeling that I'm in real need of water. I may die without feeling the need of water. Take it for anything. When I am ignorant of any matter, I'm not going to feel my deficiency in it. I'm not going to feel my need to it. And I'm telling you, I face it as one of the major problems in the Western communities. They didn't feel the need for religion. They spoil their nature, and they don't feel the need of the religion. They don't even, أعوذ بالله من ذلك, they don't feel the need of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You see? And such people, it's very hard, to find common points, to speak with them, about. And that's why most of those who become Muslim, of such community, they have some tragic event, like severe car accident, or he was about to die. He should have something to shake him from inside, to make him feel that he doesn't have anything, in this life to hold. And by this is going to relate himself to superpower or whatever of that regard. Without it, it's too difficult. As Muslims, we shouldn't be as such. Let have everyone, go and search for his benefit, without having this test from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This test is not good, In many occasions, it's going to be hated, by us. It's going to be harmful for us, even though you may have benefit, after it. But why I should wait till a dear person, in my family gets sick, to go back and recite Quran. Now recite Quran. What's wrong with you? Now recite Quran. Why I forget to make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala till I have something needed. I don't need this position, this is the most important thing to have this position, this company, and I am going to keep making dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala day and night. Why? Now make dua. Don't wait. And that's what the Prophet ﷺ instructed Sayyidina Abdullah ibn Abbas to do. تعرف إلى الله في الرخاء يعرفك في الشدة. Keep knocking the door of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is open, not closed. Okay? Even if you don't have any need. When you look at the dua of the Prophet ﷺ, okay? You are going to find this dua in general and a lot of praises of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and a lot of summary. ارزقني عافني اهدني ارحمني. You hardly find specific matter. Oh Allah, do so and so for me. Perhaps I should complain. I don't know. Should I complain or not? Everyone say, make dua, make dua, make dua. I'm not brought here to make dua to you. And perhaps I'm not the best one, to make dua for you. They expected me that I have a piece of knowledge. And they want me to convey this knowledge to you. And you are by your own, to work, You see? And this is not only for me. Whenever you have, I'm not Shaykh. Whenever you have any Shaykh, any knowledgeable person, it's a good idea to say, make dua, what zikr I should have or whatever. But this is not the major task of that person. The major task of that person, when he comes to you, and you have this opportunity to sit with him, is to guide you. And what do I mean by guide you? If I told you, if you want to go to the hospital, and I told you, you take right, left, and you sat down, make dua to me. Does this make sense, to anyone? Doesn't make sense to any of us, You should have the two components. I don't bypass the other component. إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ وَإِيَّاكَ نَسْتَعِينُ. You should show your effort, you should show your initiation, and you should make dua and seek help of Allah, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala instructed us to say, وَإِيَّاكَ نَسْتَعِينُ. You should have them together, both of them. Okay? And I'm going to repeat, because really I heard it recently, perhaps 2 years ago or so, this hadith, I came through it, and really it means a lot. Sorry for those people who did hear it from me, before, but because really this has certain reaction inside myself, and I want to share it, with some of you or all of you. Okay? A Bedouin came to the Prophet ﷺ. When we say Bedouin, those people, the most vital matter in their life is rain. Because by rain, they are going to feed themselves, they are going to find wool for clothing, and you name it, And all of the luxurious life, they related to rain for the Bedouin person. He came to the Prophet ﷺ and said, Ya Rasulullah, make dua for us for rain. The Prophet ﷺ raised up his hand, Allahumma aghithna, Allahumma, and he, alhamdulillah, that Bedouin, he returned back and has very unique and luxurious, life for that year. He enjoyed it a lot. He returned back in the next year. Good idea. Huh? He returned back
Ya Habibi.
next year. Oh Rasulullah, make dua for me. Rasulullah said, no. سقيا كسقيا الكفار. You want it the way the kuffar they have? And here, I'm sorry to say, you go to some of the Muslim country, you have desert, You come here, you have the greens, and you have all these nice, trees. The Prophet ﷺ said, "Suqya ka suqya al-kuffar." You wanted the pattern, the way the kuffar they are given. Is the Prophet ﷺ stingy? No, hasha wa killa. Doesn't have the ability to make dua. He has the full ability and the full authority to make dua. But he wants us to understand. I am, as a messenger, I was sent to you. Firstly, not to feel relaxed, in this life. This is not the life that you should feel relaxed and sit down and have luxurious life and have a good time, of eating and drinking and whatever, and enjoy your life. And by this you are going to forget everything else. And secondly, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala described him, وَإِنَّكَ لَتَهْدِي إِلَى صِرَاطٍ مُسْتَقِيمٍ. Well, the Prophet said, وَإِنَّكَ لَتَهْدِي. You guide to straight path. This is the description of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to his messenger, our messenger. Where is my portion of this? Have I asked the Prophet about this guidance? Alhamdulillah, we have it available all for us, Where is our initiation? Where is our portion of إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ? Even when it's about initiation of إِيَّاكَ نَسْتَعِينَ, I'm sorry to tell you, even إِيَّاكَ نَسْتَعِينَ, we are not good in it, Why? Because we make dua for money, for marriage, for job, for this. We don't make a lot of dua. Allahumma a'inni ala dhikrika wa shukrika wa husni ibadatik. We don't make my dua to get closer to Allah. We don't make dua, oh Allah help me to recite Quran. They told me that Quran is one of the great matters in this life, and I'm not that good, in reciting Quran. I would like to, oh Allah help me. Even the part of dua, we abuse it. We ask, in many occasions, the matter that the Prophet ﷺ did it once and refrained doing it another time for that Bedouin person. Okay? But do you imagine that the Prophet ﷺ, if someone came to him seeking a guidance, he's going to bypass him? One day, a hypocrite came to the Prophet ﷺ. What do you mean by hypocrite? These people, basically, they are liars. They have something from outside and something from inside. Okay? And if I know the hypocrite, to be honest with you, I'm not going to care a lot, I'll feel hesitant, tell him about this ayah or this hadith or that or that. Because for me it's useless. Did the Prophet ﷺ do so? No. No. He came to the Prophet ﷺ, this hypocrite, complaining to him ﷺ. He said, "O Rasulullah, the belief is in this one," and he pointed to his tongue. And the kufr in that one, he pointed to his heart, and I doesn't make zikr except occasionally. I feel, I may be wrong, that this person hated himself. He hated himself. I'm liar all the time. I have 100 masks on my face, I don't know how to live. I don't know my nature. I have been fake person, all of my life. And he got fed up of himself. And he kept complaining to the Prophet ﷺ. What did the Prophet ﷺ do? It was easy on the Prophet. Bi abi wa ummi ya habibi. Okay? He just pushed his head, his chest, He has a push, on his chest. That's it. Everything has been changed. Khalas. He became, now you are going to have new life. Okay. If you don't have such a person available, okay, you have the guidance of him, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And that's why this has been put in the poem, was said, "Oh my friends, if the beloved one to you has been far time-wise and place-wise, and it's impossible for you to see him." And I received the question, and I expect even those who did not address me with this question, that they would like to dream about the Prophet ﷺ or to see the Prophet ﷺ. I feel all the audience here, they are eager, to see the Prophet ﷺ. So here this poem is, he said, if you miss seeing the Prophet ﷺ, if you his house or his city is too far of you, and you are unable to see him, هذه شمائله. And this, consider it as selection from Allah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala selected you to hear the shama'il of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And I don't mean by shama'il only the book of shama'il. Here when we recite a hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when we speak about Quran, what the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, this all are shama'il of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Okay? And to have you, look over the world nowadays, how many of the Muslims or the non-Muslims, they have the chance, to hear this about the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. For sure, you miss some portion, of him sallallahu alaihi wasallam, of his, but if you are smart and practical and seek help of the Allah and the support of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you are the most lucky one nowadays. Okay? And not most lucky from your side, from Allah. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has chosen us. We are not the best persons, We are not that good. We have our problems, our deficiencies, and you name it. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chose us to gather here, in this place, and try to discuss with each other, those points. But as I said, yesterday or the day before, I forgot, the story doesn't end here. The story starts here. Okay? Because the second knowledge, the computer is much better than you in this knowledge. Does the computer go to heaven? Some of the kuffar, they may have the same knowledge. I was told, that one of the French women, she is knowledgeable about 10 style of qira'at, non-Muslim. So what? We have been told by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran, يَعْرِفُونَهُ كَمَا يَعْرِفُونَ أَبْنَاءَهُم. So what? So what? What knowledge is this? What knowledge? Doesn't mean anything. Okay? So here, if, as I said yesterday, recognize this favor from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala enabled you to come and hear, not my word, my word is too cheap, okay? To hear the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to hear the statement of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, recognize his favor, say Alhamdulillah about it, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala promised you, if you are going to say so, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to increase you more and more, okay? And try to find a way to practice it to your life. Not only to enter heaven. Inshallah, all of us will enter heaven, but to have peaceful life. To be as a human, in this life. Because I look at those people, who doesn't practice, or don't practice this, in their life, they are not human in my scale. Rather, I would rather say, in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala view, He said, they are worse than the animals. Not they are not, He said they are much worse than the animals. They may have nice smell, nice looking, nice clothing, or whatever. But what do they have from inside? The ugliest soul ever. Was described by the Prophet, the hearts of these people as wolves. They have skin of sheep, and heart of wolves. And I don't think any of the audience, they would like to have this, okay? So here we have, we miss the Prophet, we miss him a lot, but the major task of the Prophet ﷺ, why he was sent, still available with us, okay? And if we are sincere and we are really honest with ourselves about missing the Prophet ﷺ, this is the way. This is the way to join him. You should have his tradition. You should have his Holy Quran, which is the character of the Prophet ﷺ. You should adopt it to your life. You should mix yourself with it, your flesh, your blood with those words, of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and our Holy Prophet, and live for it. Enjoy your time for it, and anyone who is going to practice this, hopefully is going to die by this way, enter the heaven by this way. And for me, the best news, about it, is going to be with him, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the hereafter. If this occupy your heart, and has the major priority in your thoughts, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to fulfill it. The others who has the most important thing to eat or drink or get married or go there or buy this car, or he may be given, not all of them. من كان يريد العاجلة عجلنا له فيها ما نشاء لمن نريد. Whoever seek this dunya mean in Arabic the lowest, okay? May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give whatever He will subhanahu wa ta'ala to whoever He will. Not everyone, not all seeker of the dunya, they are going to have it. What after it? Go to hellfire. Whereas in the second verse, speaking about the seeker of the hereafter, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not put this condition, whoever He will, even though in our belief it's the same. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put it as if this is the rule, this rule adopted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Anyone who is a believer, and seek the hereafter, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to reward him. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to put him in the straight track. So to make the long story short, we should stop here, okay? You have now grab the first chain of that rope or that chain, the first one of it, and you should keep it up and try to move accordingly. نسأل الله سبحانه وتعالى التوفيق وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه. Any question? Stop here. Ismail did not ask us about this hadith. This hadith is chain لا بأس به. That means it's accepted. You may call it as sound. You tend to forget here, Ismail. Don't forget.